It's about to go down.
Burning your ears with another all-killer and no-filler episode of the best motorsports radio on the planet. It's the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. With your host, Jim Beaver.
Sliding trophy trucks, jumping razors, and dropping the mic at events across the country.
Amy Hood.
What's up, guys? I'm a professional fun haver, dirt bike rider, and monster truck driver.
With support from Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, and Dirtfish. Hang on tight, strap in, and get ready to smoke some tires and lay some roost. Here's the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other. Jim Beaver.
Well, welcome to either Project Action or the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. Depending on what intro music you heard means which show you're actually listening to. For the first time, we've done almost 350 episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show, over 100 episodes of Project Action. We decided to, throw a wrench in things, shake it up, and we're doing the first ever 100% complete mashup to the two shows. Now, a lot of you may only listen to one of my shows. Sometimes you're a Down and Dirty Show listener. Sometimes you're a Project Action listener. Sometimes you listen to both. Sometimes you don't listen to any, and this is the first time you're tuning in. So thank you guys for being here. And regardless of what show, I'm kind of showing you, hey, I want you to listen to both shows. That's what's going on here. And the good news is we have an epic interview, 30 minutes long, with Alexander Rossi, Indy 500 champ, race Formula One, IndyCar driver. He's in the points battle. We sat down with Alex Rossi, or I did, and really got to the root of, what makes him tick. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. This is what I like to do. It's interviews. It's personality-driven. That's what we do on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. That's what we do on Project Action. Sometimes it's motorsports, sometimes it's action sports, sometimes it's music and entertainment and actors. You never know where we're going, what we're doing, but it's always a good time on the show. So Alexander Rossi this week and a very special mashup. It is Down and Dirty Radio Show meets Project Action. So depending on what intro music you heard, you're going to hear a little bit different ads today, depending on which show or which way you tune in. But I want all of you to go and subscribe on iTunes to both the Down and Dirty Radio Show and Project Action. And please leave a rating or review. When you do that, if you leave your Twitter, Instagram at username in the review, I will follow you back. But I need you to do it to both, man. Helps me out. I like to know who my listeners are. I like to follow you on social media. I love your feedback. You can hit me up at JimBeaver15 on all forms of social media. Give me the feedback. Also at downanddirtyshow.com, where we drop a ton of content, written, verbal, whatever. We drop it all there. So welcome to the first ever mashup. It's also kind of a short week for me. We're not doing the traditional Down and Dirty Radio Show national show. We are doing this as a numbered episode, though. So I'm going to Vegas to Reno, the longest off-road race in the United States. 550 miles, man. That is a long time in a race car. I'm doing the first 300. My brother, he's tag teaming it with me. He's going to do the second 250. So I'm in there for the first 300 miles. And it's going to be a ton of fun. I love this race. It's an adventure. Stretches an entire state. There's not many races in this country where you get to, literally just drive across the middle of an entire state, like from one end to the other. It's pretty maddening, really. And, Nevada's one of those wild states. Like, everybody thinks, they see Las Vegas. That's what Nevada is. That is not Nevada. That's such a small part. Nevada's a ghost land. There's a reason why Area 51 is in Nevada. It's because nothing is actually there. Seriously. There are brothels, and there are a bunch of small towns with some interesting people. And there's Area 51. And, that's about it in Nevada. Seriously, not a whole lot. There's some mines and some other stuff, but it's an interesting state. Man, if you get past the glitz and glamour of Vegas and you get into the wilds of Nevada, it's an interesting place, and I love this race because you get to see all of it. You start looking at conspiracy theories and rumors surrounding Nevada. What is there, like Walker Lake up in northern Nevada? You go by there. I think a military base around there. There's rumors that there's submarines that come in from the Pacific Ocean, and there's a tunnel from Nevada to the Pacific Ocean that brings submarines in and out, and there's submarines in that lake. Like, seriously, like there's craziness, but that's what's around Nevada. Area 51, rumors of aliens and UFOs there, and you don't know. I don't know. There could be. Who knows? But that's what I love about Nevada. And for me to get to race in Vegas to Reno, that's one of those, like, everybody goes, oh, you going to win? You going to win? Heck, man, I'm just going to finish. 550 miles, that is no joke. If you just finish, you're going to do well. If you can find your way to the podium, you did epic. But we're just shooting for a finish at this one, man. It's going to be a great one. Loaded field. Almost 400 entries at Vegas Reno. I mean, think about that. 400 different teams of drivers trying to conquer this. It is not an easy one, I'm telling you, So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun time this week. If you want to track along, I guess bestinthedesert.com, Race Desert, they'll have all the links and all the info. If you want to follow me along, I know most of the time I'll be telling you, go to @JimBeaver15 on social media, @Down and Dirty Show on Instagram. Follow me. And I am going to have updates to those accounts. But even better yet, my partners at General Tire, they're giving me the chains. They're giving me the reins to their Facebook, their Instagram, and their Twitter account. Yeah, right? Like, what are they thinking? They're giving Jim Beaver all 3 social media accounts for 48 hours. So starting Thursday and Friday, I am going to be manning those 3 accounts using the hashtag Jim Beaver. So I'm going to be tweeting, Instagramming, Facebooking. We're doing live streams. We're going to have a ton of fun. I've got actually a social media guy helping me out. We got some high-tech camera stuff we're going to be using. So we're going to be punching out a ton of content. It's all going to be to the General Tire accounts this week. So anytime you're following those accounts and see the hashtag Jim Beaver, boom, I am the one that is in charge there, and I'm doing it up. So looking forward to that, man. It adds another layer to my race at Vegas to Reno. So make sure and follow those General Tire accounts, all 3 of them, man, because we're going to punch out unique content each and every one of them. So lots of fun going to be had at Vegas to Reno this week with me. Looking forward to just a great adventure. It's one you guys ought to bucket list for sure. If you're wanting to see, like, just hang out and, like, be wined and dined at a race, this is not the one. But if you want to go across an entire state, sun comes up, sun goes down, sun comes back up, and sometimes you're still racing, like, this is the one for you. So looking forward to it. Going to be a ton of fun. Vegas to Reno this weekend. Follow along the adventure. General Tire accounts, hashtag Jim Beaver. So, we are knee-deep into, this special Down and Dirty Radio show / Project Action mashup. My 2 different shows, we're mashing it up this week with a very awesome guest, Alexander Rossi, and we are going to get to that in just a second. But depending on which show you're listening to dictates the next 3 to 5 minutes of the show, because depending on that's where we're going to run our ads. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back to Alexander Rossi here in just a second. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow @PolarisRZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I've partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners and for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies, adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. And I'd like to welcome our good partners at ReadyLift to the Down and Dirty Radio Show and Project Action. You know, they're the industry leader in truck and SUV suspension, lift kits for the driving enthusiasts who demand more capability with a great look. ReadyLift provides all types of easy-to-install lifting solutions from 2 inches up to 9 inches, including rear block kits, lift kits, leveling kits, and more. So whether you're looking for a better performing suspension for everyday work, or you just want a better looking truck with a smoother ride, ReadyLift has a solution perfect for you. And only listeners of this show will receive an exclusive offer for 15% off your entire order by going to ReadyLift.com/Jim Beaver. With all the cheap knockoffs out there, it's important to treat your truck right and go with a quality suspension that will last for years. ReadyLift's a trusted suspension company company that is road tested and track tested and will not sacrifice any drivability. All ReadyLift lift kits are backed by a ReadyGuard 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty. The ReadyLift customer service team is here to help you with their extremely knowledgeable and friendly staff, and they are here to answer all your questions and make sure you get the perfect suspension solution for your truck or SUV. To make it easier to get a kit, ReadyLift is partnered with a firm to offer 0% interest on purchases over $500 now through August 31st. And whether you have a Ford, Chevy, GMC, Toyota, Nissan, Jeep, or my favorite Subaru, head over to ReadyLift.com/Jim Beaver now and use code Beaver15 to receive 15% off your entire order. That's right, our listeners get an exclusive offer, 15% off your entire order by using Beaver15. Don't just lift it, ReadyLift it. And with that, we are going to roll right into this interview, an amazing interview with my good friend and Indy 500 champ, Alexander Rossi. I'd like to welcome my next guest, Mr. Alexander Rossi, to the line. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like you and I think over the past 2-3 years, we've done, I don't know, at least half a dozen interviews. So I'm thinking we need to shake things up a little bit today and maybe ask some wild card questions, Alex.
Oh boy, that'll be fun. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble.
Yeah, no, we won't ask anything like that. But no, just some stuff. I don't know. I've been listening to your podcast with you and Hinch, and you guys kind of go step out of the box, and I've been having fun. Like I feel like, and I'm sure the fans feel the same way. Like they're getting a little bit different view of you guys. You know, they see you on TV. You know, they see what you guys do behind the wheel. But you feel like the fans are connecting with you on a different level with the podcast.
I certainly hope so. I mean, that was one of the main goals, honestly, from James and I is to kind of engage the fans in a different way, in a less corporate way, in a way that, you know, they can get to know who we are as people and not just, you know, IndyCar drivers. So, it's definitely something a little bit different. We are finding our feet a little bit in terms of, you know, what people are interested in hearing about. And the concept is interesting. Because we don't really talk about racing a whole lot. I mean, it's more kind of, as professional racing drivers, we have dedicated like the majority of our lives since we were kids to our craft and our sport. And, you know, through that we've gotten to meet some pretty cool people who have similar stories in other walks of life. So we're trying to get them on the show and hear their stories and just kind of introduce people to our inner circle of friends and kind of just our personal life in a humorous and hopefully insightful way.
Yeah. Well, I think that's funny because I'm the same way. You know, I whether I'm doing radio or TV or, my racing career, it's like I'm always talking about motorsports, you know, and everybody I'm around. But then I've got like a small group of friends, and some of them are even in the industry. But like we get together and we talk everything but racing. You know, and it's so, like, for me, it recharges my batteries. Like, and I love motorsport, the business of it, racing, driving, everything about it. But sometimes it's like, I just need to get away from it for a couple of hours and, like, just talk about something stupid, you know?
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, it's an all kind of, it kind of engulfs my world, if that makes sense. It's for sure nice to switch it up a little bit. But then at the same time, you know, James and I kind of do race recaps. So, you know, the podcast has been going on during the season. So we'll, on our Thursday release date, we'll talk about the previous weekend and what was good and what was bad. So people who are fans of us as drivers as well can still have a little bit of information that they might not have gotten from the 30-second NBC clip or, you know, the team's press release. So, we try and balance it out. But you're absolutely right. It's nice to talk about something different every once in a while.
Yeah. And for those of you tuning in, it is Off Track with Hinch and Rossi. I know you guys had an interesting bit recently. You said it should have been Rossi and Hinch, but it is Off Track with Hinch and Rossi. You guys can grab it on iTunes. I think it's up on your website too. There's some links there, and but yeah, definitely good stuff, man. And like you said, I like it because I can tune in and listen, and I get a different feel. It's funny hearing about a race recap from a driver's point of view instead of just somebody analyzing it from the outside. I think that's really cool that you guys do that. It brings in just a different feel to what's happening at the races.
I appreciate it, man. That's what we're trying to do for sure.
So, yeah, we got to talk, though, a little bit about this season. I know, obviously, you're having a damn good season, but right now it's, I guess it's break. I mean, you're coming off a big win there, Mid-Ohio. I mean, you dominated the weekend. You won the race. You qualified on top. And then you go into this break, and I know breaks are hard to come by in the IndyCar season. There's that bender there where you go from May through June, and I think it's like every single weekend between Indy and Detroit and Texas. I mean, you guys have something going, and now you've got like a break. I mean, what does Alexander Rossi do when you got a couple of weeks off?
The couple of weeks only turns into probably a couple of days, but it's obviously getting towards the end of summer here in Indianapolis, so I try and get out on the water as much as possible. I grew up near Lake Tahoe, so when I wasn't skiing, I was on a boat of some sort. So the one thing I've learned in life is to have friends with pools and boats, and I have both of those. So it's great, and it's been nice to just hang out and honestly just be at home. People are like, oh, so do you go anywhere? It's like, no. Like, the best thing in the world is just to be able to cook and not have to eat out all the time.
Yeah.
I've just been enjoying that and catching up on movies and hanging out with my dog and girlfriend and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, I know that this was kind of a turning point race, too, Mid-Ohio. Coming in, early on, you were up there in the points. Everybody thought, oh, man, this is Rossi's year. And then, you had a few hiccups. I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad happened. You just had a few hiccups. The gap, kind of got spread out about a bit, and then all of a sudden Mid-Ohio comes around. Boom, you're on. You're first. There's a gap back there to Dixon. Now all of a sudden, this is an all new season. And we got a few rounds left. I mean, how are you guys approaching these last few races of the year? Because now all bets are off, dude. It's a wide open points battle.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we needed the Mid-Ohio result, no doubt. I mean, as you said, all the way through kind of May, we were really strong, and I think the car to beat. And we never lost pace, but I had the mistake in Detroit, which caused us to go from finishing second to 11th, and then we had a guaranteed podium in Road America, pretty much, and then we had a rear suspension failure, and then we just honestly sucked in Iowa. And then Toronto, it seemingly me and my teammate Ryan Hunter-Ray just hit everything. So it was a lot of things, man. And we were never qualifying out of the top 5. So it wasn't a matter of we kind of lost our way with performance or car setup or anything, and we just weren't putting it together on the Sundays. And so we really regrouped going into Mid-Ohio, and we didn't let any of that really disrupt the flow of what we were doing, and we just took it day by day, and it was a good kind of momentum shift for really the whole team, to just remind ourselves that, we are one of the fastest cars this year, and if we just all execute and do our job on the Sunday, then, the rest will take care of itself. So really we're continuing with that mindset through the rest of the year. I know that we'll be very strong in Pocono and Gateway, which are the next 2 races. So, we're going to need to capitalize on that. But as you said, I mean, it's an all bets are off, championship battle at this point. You got to go for race wins. I mean, none of us in the top 5 are going to win the championship without at least winning another one. So it's not about finishing 4th or 5th. I mean, maybe it is for Scott because he still has a bit of a gap on us, but for the rest of us, we just need to go out there and finish on top.
Yeah. Well, and you'd said, you're going to be good at Gateway and at Pocono. And, I got to ask, I mean, you went into Long Beach and it was the same type of event as it was at Mid-Ohio. And, and I was there and got to see, I mean, you guys just dominated all weekend. Then Mid-Ohio, I mean, is there certain weekends where you just go in and hey, we're going to be really, really good this weekend? I mean, is there, you just have that feeling and know, hey, this is going to be our weekend?
We did for Long Beach. I mean, we know that on street tracks we're very competitive, and Long Beach in 2017 was a win that we felt kind of got taken away from us because we had an engine issue. So that was always circled on our calendar for all of 17 and leading into 18. Mid-Ohio, honestly, wasn't one that we were too optimistic about because, honestly, road courses hadn't been really good for us. We were one of the only teams that didn't elect to test in Mid-Ohio. So we were going into it a little bit concerned. And I think it's just a testament to the effort that all of Andretti Autosport puts in, on a weekly basis, because they found huge gains away from the racetrack with the car performance. And you saw that with all four of our cars. I mean, Ryan and I were fighting for pole in the Fast Six. Zach, me and Ryan were all in the top 12. Marco was in the top 5 in practice. I mean, all four of our cars were running at a high level. So I think we found something on road courses, which is a relief, because obviously Sonoma's a road course, and it's double points, and it's one where we haven't been excellent at in the past. So I think it's very similar to Mid-Ohio. So we have a lot of confidence, honestly, going into the last four.
Yeah. Well, and here's another question. I know, when we were organizing this interview, I was sending emails back and forth with Andretti Autosport, and and I know they go, oh well, Alexander, he's in the sims right now. We'll put this in front of him as soon as he gets out of the sims. And I started thinking, I almost completely forget about that, But how do the simulators? How did they come into play with some of these tracks and rounds and things like that? Is that becoming a crucial part of training for you?
Yeah, it's critical, really. I wouldn't say it's super important for us as drivers, unless it's a track we haven't been to in the past. But what it's really good for is for being able to test big-ticket items that either take a long time to change at the track, in session, or are just a big risk. Because a lot of the changes you make, are fairly small. They're your springs, they're your shocks, they're your aero balance and ride heights and everything. But you're not doing anything too crazy. And sometimes there's problems that you have with the balance of the car, and you think, wow, if we do this really big change, it might be mega, it might be awesome. But there's also the fact that, teams have tried it in the past, and it's kind of just a gray area of whether it actually works or not. So we use the sim for those items because, it takes about 45 seconds to change it. You just change the math in the computer, and you're able to switch the car. So it's really good from that standpoint, because if it shows even a little bit of promise on the sim, then we will try it at the track. Whereas, if it's just instantly negative, then we cross it off our list.
Yeah, lets you rule things out without having to do it at the track, and then it gives you, I guess it just narrows it down for setups and stuff like that once you do get to the track where you're, maybe you have 5 things to try instead of 50,
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is ovals, right? I mean, you're always timid to try big things on ovals because there's no warning if it's wrong. You kind of go into turn 1 the first time, and if it's good, it's great. And if it's bad, you're in a wall, and that obviously puts you massively on the back step, on the back foot. So, really, for ovals, it's useful for that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, and things like that. Well, you got to go back and talk about Indy 500 qualifying. I mean, you kind of opened that door up right now. But talking about that, I know that was it had to been a little nerve-wracking for you there for a second. I mean, you went from one of the fastest guys to all of a sudden, boom, you guys made some changes, and it was one of those gambles where it was either gonna, it was either gonna work or it wasn't, and it didn't happen in your favor. But when you're behind the wheel, and like at Indy, you've got a few laps, and it's like, man, I mean, were you just kind of hanging on at that point?
Well, here's the thing, man. Like, we didn't change anything. We actually had a flat tire going to pit lane.
Okay.
And we didn't catch it. I had a right front going down through that whole run. And so, like, I did lap 1, and it was pretty bad. And I was like, okay. And the speed was still, because we were fighting for 9th at this point. So we missed the fast 9 by, like, 100th on Saturday. And lap 1, with the new tires and everything, it kind of masked the issue that I had. And I thought, wow, the track's just greasy or whatever, and it's going to be a wild ride. And then lap 2 started, and I went into turn 1 and almost crashed. And I was like, okay. And then I went into turn 3 and really almost crashed. And so then I just brought the car home. And we obviously qualified 32nd. And we didn't know until we got the car back that, the right front tire basically had no air in it. So yeah, that was super disappointing because, we were, like you said, we were one of the fastest cars all weekend to going and starting on the last row.
Yeah. Well, you had one hell of a run at Indy. I got to give you credit, man. You were exciting to watch. You threading the needle and taking the risks you needed to, and it made for an exciting race to see one of the fastest guys in the field starting all the way towards the back. So from a fan perspective, it was exciting. You know, from a driver perspective, it's not the way you want to start the Indy 500, but I think all the fans were, you made it exciting for us watching.
Well, I appreciate it, man. That's good to hear.
Yeah. So, hey, a couple of wild card questions here, and these are all motorsport related, but I kind of put it out there on social media a bit, and got a few things come back, and some of them are kind of interesting, some of them are just whatever. But the first one, I think, so you went to an NHRA round last year with Ron Capps, correct? Napa driver. I did. What was your thoughts on NHRA? Because I know I've been. Antron Brown invited me down to him and Steve Torrance to one of the NHRA races this year, and I stood in the water box when 12,000 horsepower was unleashed. I got to tell you, dude, it's the wildest thing ever. And I just wondered if you had that same experience and what you thought of NHRA.
Absolutely loved it. Thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I mean, I would never step foot in one. You couldn't pay me to do that, but I am trying to go back. It hasn't worked out in the calendar. I was going to go to the four wides in Charlotte, but I wasn't able to make it down this year. But I love it, man, and huge respect for all of those men and women who do that. But yeah, I would never even step foot in one. I don't even think I would warm one up. No. Just not interested. Like, it hurts. It hurts standing there. Yeah. I can't even imagine what it's like in the car.
That's like,
but yeah, it's like anything, unlike anything else, to have your entire body like rocked.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's like,
vehicle.
Yeah, my eyes are watering, my lungs are burning, you know, and then it feels like somebody just punches you in the chest as absolute hard as they can. It's just, it's wild. It's, I don't know. I've never experienced anything like it before. I was just wondering if you had the same experience, and you did, man. That's awesome.
For sure.
So, all right, another one. This one, you know, I know fans are throwing out some good ones here. So, you know, I know Alonso with the whole Triple Crown thing has become, a big deal, that he's got Monaco and he went to Indy 500 last year. So you're a guy that's raced in Formula One. You've won the Indy 500. This whole Triple Crown thing, what do you think is the hardest leg of the Triple Crown to win? Or do you think they're all three equally as hard?
Oh, that's a great question. I would have to say that Monaco's got to be the hardest, only because you can't win unless you're in one of like 2 to 4 cars.
Gotcha.
Like, if you're not in a Mercedes or Ferrari or Red Bull or whatever the best is that year, you're not going to win. Like, there's just nothing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to allow that to be a thing. So I would have to say that solely for that reason. The race itself is probably the easiest in terms of, just mental focus and physicality and everything. It's by far the easiest. But just because there's not equal equipment, it's got to be the hardest one to win.
Nice. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, at least with, the Indy 500, there's potentially probably 20 cars, give or take, that really have a shot at, maybe sneaking in and taking a victory.
Sure.
But yeah, Monaco, like you said, there's 4, maybe 6 at best, and but that can actually win that race. So yeah, that's good.
Well, yeah, you got to look at it from the sense of how many people have won Monaco multiple times versus how many people have won the 500 multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's always the guy in the same car. So, like, it's hard to not, I don't know. Yeah, it's just hard to win.
No, I gotcha. So this one goes back to the Amazing Race. They wanted to know, how your experience was on there. Would you do it again? And, and did it help you, with the fans? Like, do you have more people coming up to you now than you did before, you did the show?
Yes. So it was an amazing experience, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I would definitely not do it again. So I'll leave that where that is. But yeah, it's weird because, like, even at a racetrack, more people come up to me about the Amazing Race than they do about the 500, which is good and it's bad. It's good because I think it it did introduce IndyCar and myself to a new audience, which was kind of the main goal in the first place, because the main incentive was to try and expose our series and ourselves to a fan base that wouldn't usually be watching it on a prime network television series. But it's bad because it's disappointing, because I definitely don't want to be known for my attempt to sing and dance in Africa over my Indy 500 win. Like, I just don't. I would much rather people forgot about that, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So that's that.
Yeah, it is funny you say that, because I was Long Beach Grand Prix this year. I had dinner with Connor, and there was a group of us there, probably about 6 of us, and we were eating dinner. And he was unbranded, but he had his Monster hat on. And I thought, we're in there, and I'm like, people are going to walk up to Connor and be like, "Oh, Long Beach Grand Prix, you're an IndyCar driver," And granted, he wasn't racing the event, but people know who Connor was. There was probably 2 or 3 people that walked up in the restaurant, wanted pictures, but it wasn't because he was an IndyCar driver. It's because they knew him from The Amazing Race. And it's just funny that you say that, So, yeah.
It's crazy.
Never underestimate reality TV. That's, I guess, the moral of the story.
The fun thing was Connor was in Vegas at one point, and someone came up to him and thought he was me, which I thought was amazing. Love that. Love to hold that against him.
Dude, that is great. He probably, that's one of those where he's rolling his eyes. Like, how are you nice about this, right? Like, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Exactly.
All right,
For
so
sure.
So last one. These are some good ones. I like putting it out there to the internet. So how was it for you moving to Europe as an American driver trying to make it over there? What was the reception for you, when you first hit Europe? And, how was the learning curve for you? You'd grown up in the States, you'd run here. How was the adjustment period, to European racing?
It took, well, that's a two-parter. So First of all, the reception was actually really good. I was going over there kind of expecting, to be treated differently because I was an American and I was kind of on their turf and kind of seen to be less talented just because of European arrogance type of thing. And really that never happened. I mean, obviously there is definitely egos, because they feel that they are the home of motorsports and all of this stuff, and Americans are just rednecks and all this stuff, but it was more in a lighthearted way. I never had any issues because I was American, so I thought that was a pleasant surprise. In terms of the adjustment period, for sure the racing's a lot different. It's a lot more aggressive. The stewards kind of, they put rules out there and then kind of turn a blind eye every once in a while, and it's very political, which was the one thing I really disliked about it. I mean, there was a lot of positive things. I mean, the tracks were amazing, the events were spectacular, and all of this stuff, but it was a business, man. And I know that exists a little bit in IndyCar and racing here, but it's a much more pure form of motorsports, I feel like. And having done both, it's amazing to me how much European racing kind of forgets the roots of it and forgets the fact that we're all here because we love motorsports and we love cars and we love competing. It's all about who's making money. And that's not as of an enjoyable environment. That's why I've fallen in love with IndyCar so much, and I really have no interest in going back.
Yeah. Well, definitely, and it just does seem like, with Formula One and just all kinds of motor racing there in Europe, it is very much money-driven. You see a lot of guys in seats that maybe they don't quite deserve, but they came with the deep pockets and it was able to buy their way in. And, and I feel like in the United States, I mean, there's a bit of that, but I do still feel like the best drivers are still on track at any given time.
100%. You're right. I mean, it's never going to go away. But you don't have, I mean, we can use a current example of, you don't have a father, that's spending upwards of $50 million buying a Formula One team, i.e. Force India, so his son can go drive. Like, that's just not, it's not normal, right? I mean, what other sport is that really a thing?
Yeah, no, that's funny because I was thinking that as I was saying that. I'm like, yeah, the whole Force India thing. That's just, yeah, and I think everybody was just kind of was a bit shocked. Like, wow, this is for real? Like, man. But
yeah, it's a little bit weird.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I appreciate the time, man. It was always fun catching up. Good luck at Pocono and in the in this championship hunt. I'm sure at some point this year we're going to catch up again on the show. But good luck with the podcast with you and Hinch as well. And looking forward to watching this this championship battle play out, buddy.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for all the support. Talk to you later.
All right, you too. Thanks. And that wraps up today's fun mashup version of Project Action and the Down and Dirty Radio Show. So thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, make sure and subscribe to both Project Action and the Down and Dirty Radio Show. We've got 2 shows going on, 100 episodes into Project Action, 350 into the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Neither one of them's going anywhere anytime soon. So thank you guys for all the support of both shows. And, as we continue to click off even more episodes, bringing the best guests in the entire country, and try and, make a run at this thing. But, if you haven't already, subscribe, but also follow me on social media at Jim Beaver 15 on all 3 major platforms. It's also at Down and Dirty Show on Instagram. And, check us out, downanddirtyshow.com. That'll give you the place for all things Project Action and the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Action sports news, motorsports news. We handle it all right there at downanddirtyshow.com. And make sure this weekend, check me out. I will be taking over the General Tire social media accounts, all tweets, Instagram posts, Instagram stories, Facebook Lives, everything using the hashtag Jim Beaver. You know that's me. It's coming from me. I will be taking over the accounts for 48 hours. And, as I race Vegas to Reno, the longest off-road race in the United States. So make sure, check those out. We'll be killing it, shredding it there in our Polaris Razor. Big thanks to Vision Wheel for continuing the support, helping us get there as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back next week with more Project Action and more Down and Dirty Radio Show. So I hope you enjoyed this mashup. Big thanks to Andretti Autosport and Alexander Rossi for making that interview happen. And we'll be back with more coming at you next week on both shows.